So when you've been in the game for a while, you start to get accustomed to rug pulls, right? You do all this crypto research, you think you found that 100x gem, just to find out you packed your bags 24 hours before the rug got pulled. Well, let's just say this isn't one of those coins. What if I told you I was about to show you the next Ethereum, maybe the next Bitcoin? I mean, a coin that has such massive potential. When you start to dive in and do your research, you almost can't talk yourself out of investing in that cryptocurrency. I'm talking about one of those 100x moonshots, right? One of those coins that you look at and you start doing research, and the more research you do, you start pulling out your phone to text your buddies that you found the next holy grail, the next 100x gem, Mark Cuban opening up his billfold couldn't convince you to sell it. That's one of these gems. It's like that aha moment where you're looking into it and you're doing the research, and then all of a sudden, what's up everybody? Ryan Matta here. Welcome back to the show. You guys ready to dive deep? It's very rare that you find a cryptocurrency that actually meets the criteria on almost every single level. Is it a security? Is it proof of work? Is it proof of stake? Do they have a legit team? Do they have smart contracts in place that lock up developers' funds for a certain period of time? If I do research on GitHub, are they on GitHub? Is their blockchain actually developing? How is their DeFi ecosystem? All of these are really key pieces to doing extensive crypto research into a project. When you find a project that has this much upside potential, you really want to share that news with everybody. So before I overtalk it, coin of the day, Kadena. Can this coin 2x, 5x, 10x? Oh, I definitely think so. So let's dive deep. Let's do a full deep dive into Kadena. Let's find out what Kadena is, and let's see where this coin's headed. So when I first found out about this coin, I put it on your guys' radar. The price of this coin was $1.55. That was less than 14 days ago. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about Kadena's market cap. We're going to talk about its circulating supply. We're going to talk about how much money needs to be invested in Kadena for it to 2x, 5x, 10x. Wow. We are going to dive over to these charts and talk about Kadena putting in new all-time highs at $3.92. This coin is almost up 200% since the last time I made this video. That's insane, guys. And it's coins like this that continue to grow at the price point they're at with the market structure. I mean, everything about this coin is amazing. So we're going to jump over here to TradingView. We're going to make some price predictions. I'm going to show you market structure. Kadena does look like it's hitting a peak. So this might be a perfect opportunity to catch one of the best coins in the game on a retrace. We're going to jump over here to GitHub, and I'm going to show you guys the comments and show you guys exactly how much work is getting done to this blockchain and exactly how active the blockchain is. We're going to jump over here to CoinMarketCap. We're going to talk about upcoming events. We are going to jump over to Lunar Crush. We're going to talk about how popular Kadena is. Then we're going to jump over to CoinMarketCap. We're going to do a deep dive into what Kadena is. We're going to talk about Kadena's tokenomics. And we're going to talk about exactly why I'm so bullish on this coin. But in order to show you guys why I'm so bullish on Kadena, it's very rare that you find a layer 1 blockchain that meets all criteria to be a property, not a security. The SEC has pretty much deemed that most proof of stake blockchains are securities. They are not properties, where Bitcoin is the first and only digital property.
And so it's very logical, and I would argue intuitive, that a crypto proof of stake system would be similarly centralizing over time. And that's why proof of stake, it will fail. I mean, maybe they'll find a way for it to work for some orthogonal marketplace, but it will never work in money, right?
So what makes Bitcoin Bitcoin is because Bitcoin creates this vortex, right? Bitcoin has 7 different layers of security. And when you talk about a cryptocurrency that's never been able to be surpassed in the last 13 years, and we're talking about Bitcoin has had over 5,000 different competitors come out and try to dethrone Bitcoin. Why has no cryptocurrency been able to dethrone Bitcoin?
Bitcoin kind of enmeshes itself into these alternative capital networks. And this just becomes a virtuous cycle. Again, the key to understanding Bitcoin is that no one has figured out how you break this virtuous cycle of its monetization process. So we have this virtuous cycle of rational actors basically coming into Bitcoin or gaining exposure to it either directly or indirectly to optimize their own benefit. So it's not even a matter of like, have you studied Bitcoin or are you ignoring Bitcoin? You may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you. This vortex of incentives that Bitcoin represents is just, no one's figured out how to stop it. And if you are to any extent a rational economic actor that seeks to preserve wealth over time, then you're basically being forced to look into Bitcoin, to learn about Bitcoin, and ultimately to buy Bitcoin.
Because Bitcoin is the apex currency, meaning when you look at currencies and you talk about a currency, right? You want that currency to be divisible, durable, recognizable, portable, and you want that cryptocurrency to have a finite supply. What that causes, and because Bitcoin is proof of work, just like Kadena, you have these different layers: energy, technology, political, financial, mining, spatial, and temporal. Each one of these layers adds a level of security for the Bitcoin network, which actually builds Bitcoin into basically a vortex. And we're gonna dive super deep here, guys, so I hope you're ready, right? Because Bitcoin is a property and the government has deemed that is not a security, Bitcoin becomes the first digital property. And why is that? Because of proof of work. Because Bitcoin is so decentralized and it's a proof of work network, it has the ability to actually be a physical digital currency, which makes it ideal for investors. It makes it the best store of value. Bitcoin doesn't need to change. The tech doesn't need to do anything because Bitcoin is just like gold. Gold hasn't changed in decades, but it continues to grow in value because people see it as a store of value, or at least it used to before cryptocurrency. So when the markets start to come down and people are looking for a way to store value, in order to be a real store of value, you need to have skin in the game. Proof of stake, you buy the asset, you stake it, it earns you rewards, but that doesn't necessarily work because it ends up turning into a pyramid scam. The people that have the largest supplies are rewarded the most.
The expenditure of energy to constitute the skin in the game that creates these layers around Bitcoin, right? The 5 layers of security plus the spatial and temporal layers. Anything short of work, right? Work being the one phenomenon that mankind cannot counterfeit. It is impossible to counterfeit work, right? This is thermodynamic reality. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. We can only be transformed through work. That is at the heart and center of this whole incentive vortex that we call Bitcoin. You know, it's obvious that that would outcompete all closed source systems, including proof of stake systems, especially proof of stake systems that, again, if we look at their implementation of fiat currency historically via the central bank, they're self-annihilating, right? They centralize over time until they collapse. I've never heard anyone put it like this. I would say that Saylor has officially cemented proof of work as the most inarguably successful consensus mechanism for money there is. And so it's very logical, and I would argue intuitive, that a crypto proof of stake system would be similarly centralizing over time. And that's why proof of stake, it will fail. I mean, maybe they'll find a way for it to work for some orthogonal marketplace, but it will never work in money, right? You need
That's caused mining operations to grow at such a large rate. They're so large that you pretty much need about $100 million to get started mining Bitcoin and be successful and competitive in the market. That draws in large sums of capital. When you have players that are that big, that are investing into a cryptocurrency, those are the players that control the energy markets, they control the politicians, they control the governments. So you have these players that are investing large enough sums of money, putting a lot of skin in the game, that are very, very dependent, and they want to see the success of that cryptocurrency. So when you have bigger players stepping in, when your cryptocurrency becomes that big of a store of value that institutions, hedge funds all want to invest in your cryptocurrency, that brings a lot of money into the ecosystem. Bitcoin doesn't need to evolve because it's Bitcoin. Ethereum is attempting to move to proof of stake because of the scalability issues with proof of work, and they couldn't figure out how to scale it. Kadena has figured that out. Kadena has created what's called the chain web technology. So I'm gonna roll this video so you guys understand what chain web technology is. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about price predictions and why I'm so bullish on this coin.
Welcome to Kadena, a breakthrough in blockchain security and scalability. Kadena's chain web protocol is a public proof-of-work blockchain that builds upon the proven design of Bitcoin. Let's start with the simple architecture of Bitcoin and build our way up towards Kadena. In Bitcoin, there is one chain. As each new block is mined, it points to the hash of the previous block in the chain. To create a new block, miners around the world race to solve a cryptographic math problem. This design, called proof of work, was the world's first proven method for processing secure and decentralized transactions without requiring that participants be known. Now imagine a two-chain version of Bitcoin. When a new block is mined on either chain, that new block references the previous block on its own chain, in addition to the previous block on its peer chain. This design doubles throughput and increases security, since it contains proofs from not one, but two other previous valid chains. This idea of braiding two chains together for increased security first came from early Bitcoin forums, and it was referred to as Betacoin or block rope. Taking this idea one step further, we can now see a three-chain configuration. Here we are braiding together three Bitcoin-like chains to further improve security and scalability. Notice that there are now many more reference points, as each newly mined block points to its own previous block, in addition to that of all their peer chains. If we continue to add more chains, it requires a more efficient base graph to propagate information across the network without sending so many reference point messages. Kadena's breakthrough comes by taking this early idea of Bitcoin braiding and scaling it dramatically. We do so by leveraging graph theory. Instead of an arbitrary communication structure, as can be found in some DAG-based platforms, Kadena uses a fixed graph structure to optimize for propagating information across the network. In the case of this 10-chain structure, Kadena uses the Peterson graph so that each chain only needs to communicate with 3 peer chains instead of all 9 of the others. Once those 3 peer chains communicate with their own 3 peers, the entire network is linked in only 2 communication jumps. Taking this idea one layer further, Kadena continues to scale throughput and security in the network by braiding 20 chains together. Leveraging a fixed graph approach is unique to Kadena. It allows the platform to guarantee the overall performance, as opposed to unfixed or DAG-based approaches, which cannot make any guarantees. Kadena accomplishes this all while preserving the key promises of Bitcoin: openness, ownerlessness, and true decentralization. Now you've seen how Kadena's blockchain has been uniquely built for security and scalability. This is a simple animation to illustrate how the Chainweb protocol evolves from Bitcoin to the highly scalable and highly secure design of Kadena. To learn more about Kadena, explore the resources available at kadena.io.
This is the first time that I've ever seen a cryptocurrency that actually has that much potential, because it can be that digital gold. If Bitcoin is digital gold, Kadena is platinum or a diamond, right? Because they have smart contracts. They're going to have a DeFi ecosystem. They are infinitely scalable. The transaction speeds and gas costs are always going to stay low. That's not debatable. That's guaranteed. And then to top it off, this is going to be a good one, I promise. There was nothing in there, but it looked cool, right? Let's just say Kadena is Bitcoin 2.0 or it is Ethereum 3.0. The reason that Ethereum is switching to proof of stake is because when they made that decision like 4 years ago, they couldn't figure out how to scale proof of work. Well, the Kadena team has. And that's what's really mind-blowing and revolutionary, right? Because of their chain web technology, when the network gets busy, they just deploy more chains. And it's really, if you haven't seen my interview with Doug, and if you haven't seen my interview coming up with Stuart Popejoy, the creator of Kadena, stay tuned, it's gonna be exciting. I don't know if it's gonna come out before this video or after this video, because I have it here in like 6 hours. So let's talk about price predictions for Kadena. Let's go over and chart this coin out, and you guys will see exactly why I've been so bullish on Kadena. So when we talk about market structure, you guys know that I'm super bullish on anytime I see a coin that is actually making, beautiful Elliott wave market structure to the T. It's like almost too perfect. You don't even know what to think. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? We are now putting in our 5th. So that is going to turn into our macro 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because Kadena has ran up 185% since I made that last Kadena video and told you guys what a good buy Kadena was going to be at $1.40. Kadena, when I found this coin, it was pumping up here at $1.55. I called the price push to the upside within 5 cents, and I called the retrace all the way down to this target at $1.41. Ended up actually coming down to $1.38. But I told everybody at that price point, I'm extremely bullish and I'm gonna be a buyer, and I did. And then the more I researched this coin, the more I started to really go, oh my gosh, like this is not just an aha moment. This is the holy grail. You don't find these very often that are not launched on major exchanges, that still have these super low market caps, that meet all the criteria to really be something absolutely revolutionary. It's very, very rare. So if this becomes our macro leg one, that would be calling for a retrace down to $2.67. So it's $3.83 right now. When you're talking about a coin like this, you're always gonna look at the charts and go, man, like, do I FOMO in? Because with this market cap, this supply, and the fact that they are only on KuCoin, Bittrex, CoinEx, and CoinMetro, they're not on any big exchanges. The market cap is still super low. You could see one big player step in and pack their bags on Kadena, which is, I assume this is what you're already seeing here, right? These big elephant candles on the daily time frame, retail investors don't really have the ability to pack their bags on cryptocurrencies like this and make price moves like that. So most likely you're seeing these are bigger players stepping in the game. They're whales. They're probably not institutions yet because Kadena's not quite battle tested long enough to be a target or even on the radar of institutions if they didn't get involved on the crowdfunding or the ICO of it. Most of them will wait for a certain period of time to start really investing in these coins, but we're still at the ground front. So do I think Kadena is going to come down to 267? I mean, I don't personally think so, but if it did, I would be buying more, right? And I can see coming down on this retrace, 267, 223, and 182 are my key retrace targets. Now, if I remove all these drawings and I talk about legs, right? We have leg one right here. Kadena was so bullish, it didn't even retrace to the 0.382. Now, Kadena was also extremely bullish over here, but I was like, okay, when coins get that bullish, I want to hold off and I want to wait to see if it retraces down. And I'm so lucky that it did, because that 143 price point was my actual retrace target. And that's when I really started to pack my bags. I packed more at $1.43. I think I bought some more at $1.59. I bought some more at $1.81. I just kept buying. Every time I got more money, I was just buying more Kadena, buying more Kadena, buying more Kadena. So again, if I remove those drawings and we talk about legs, this being our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, if our fifth hits a peak at say 413, the retrace for Kadena on this leg will be calling for a price to 308, 284, and 249. So because of this peak over here, we can see that key support level. I think that that's realistic to think that if it does retrace right now, that we could see all of these targets get hit. So obviously I want to own more Kadena. I think I only have like 4,000 something coins of Kadena. I would obviously want to have more. I want to have 5,000. My original goal was 3,300. And then I hit that, and I kept seeing that prices were still down at these lower levels. And I'm like, this is going to be the smartest investment because it's going to 2x, 3x, 4x. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to guess, right? Because as far as a currency, right, it has the energy, it has the technology, it'll attract the politicians, it can be used as currency. If it gets deemed as a property, which it should because it is proof of work, it is 100% decentralized, the mining network and the infrastructure around it will protect itself, and it'll begin to basically consume anybody that chooses not to interact with it. Like right now, why do they call it the Bitcoin Vortex? Because if people in the energy sector didn't give Bitcoin any attention, their business is suffering, right? Or it didn't do as good as the company that did give Bitcoin the attention that it deserved. Technology, the semiconductor industry, if you didn't get involved with Bitcoin, guess what? And your competitors did? Well, we know how that story goes. If you were a politician and you tried to ban cryptocurrency, you tried to ban Bitcoin specifically, guess what? If the state next to you or the governor next to you was Bitcoin friendly, guess what? His economy is doing 5 to 10 times better than yours, right? So you hit it from all these layers, and Bitcoin makes it so impossible to ignore Bitcoin, because if you are a logical market actor and you who likes to preserve wealth, which is everybody, right? Everybody wants to save, everybody wants to have extra money in the bank, everybody wants to have investments that are generating them income while they're sleeping. Bitcoin becomes that best store of value that the world has ever seen. And it all boils back down to it being proof of work. So when you hear kadena being proof of work, and you hear all these people talking about proof of stake. Proof of stake doesn't work as a currency. It may work as a token, and it may work as like something that people see is super valuable, right? But it doesn't, it can never work as a currency because you don't have that skin in the game factor. You don't have that energy. It goes back to the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed by doing work. So when I found kadena, I was like, wait. And just every step you do, every little bit of research, you're like, no way. Bro, you got found that holy grail, homie. Yeah, buy kadena right now, right? But I'm not a financial advisor, but that's just what you're like, you want to tell your friends about it, you're telling your family about it, you're texting your buddies at work, you're texting your boss at work, hopefully you can put them on to maybe get some extra days off at work. That's that kind of feeling you get when you find a coin like kadena. If you guys don't understand how supply times price equals market cap, let me break this down for you really quick. So previously when I made this video, kadena was at $1.50 and the supply was 148,000. And obviously I just round up to keep it simple. So price times supply gives you your market cap. So the market cap was $230 million. If we jump back over here and we take a look at coin market cap, we can see right now that the market cap is 585,000. So if we come over here, we do 585, and obviously again I rounded, and we come up here and we see the price of the coin is 381, and we take a look at the supply. So in the last basically 15 or 30 days, how many coins has kadena released into circulation? And we see 153 million. So they are still putting out quite a few coins into circulation because they are still a new blockchain. And how kadena's blockchain actually works, unlike Bitcoin, who has a halving at a set period of time at a set block, right? Kadena has basically a micro halving every month. So every month that time goes on, the difficulty gets harder and harder and harder and harder and harder in micro increments. So you're never gonna see that big block reward cut, which I do really like about Bitcoin because it instantly pretty much doubles the price of a coin. And when that price of that coin shift hits or that halving, the Bitcoin network gets so much media attention and everybody starts packing their bags because Bitcoin always doubles in price. So you could look at it two ways. I think it's good because it won't create that big sell-off that we always have, like maybe 12 months before a halving or 8 months before a halving. It's like everybody knows that everybody's gonna be selling their Bitcoin. So it all drives the price of Bitcoin down because everybody wants to buy it at a cheaper price and they know that the halving is gonna be coming up. So it's like a year before Bitcoin halvings, we normally see that big sell-off. So I think that kadena is nice because we shouldn't see that because people aren't gonna be trying to offload a bunch of crypto just to buy it back again. I was saying for the coin to 2x before and be 310, the market cap would need to be 460 million. And we can see right now, the market cap is 585 million and the coin has done more than a 2x. So if we come over here and we put in 585, and let's just round down to keep it super simple so I can do this quick. So since I lowered the price and it would obviously lower the market cap. So we'll just say 350 is roughly 550 million. For kadena to 2x right now, and to go from 350 to $7, the market cap would need to go from 550 million to 1.1 billion. 10x, 5.5 billion. 20x, 11 billion. 100x, 55 billion. We take a look over here, we see Polkadot, 43 billion. Solana, 56 billion. Cardano, 74 billion. BNB, 82 billion. Ethereum, almost 500 billion. So you're talking about coins that over a 2 to 3 year period became some of the biggest names in the industry. So we're talking about Solana at 56 billion. If Dogecoin can have a market cap of 89 billion and you don't think a coin like kadena can, you're crazy. It's really revolutionary what level the kadena technology is on versus what the price point of this cryptocurrency is. So obviously anything's possible. For whatever reason, something crazy could happen. Maybe they get deemed a security, which I think is highly unlikely. But even if they do, I still think their team's they're gonna work with it. Their team actually came from Chase. So their founders, if I'm not mistaken, actually created the first JP Morgan Chase blockchain, just to give you guys an idea. So it's super cool and interesting to think what experience level these developers and founders actually have. And then you talk about another one of their founders, or I wanna say advisors, also came from the SEC. So they have that government background, they have the banking background. Their developer, Doug Beardsley, I mean, talk about smart. It's pretty impressive, the team that they have. Anytime I message them or need to have any question, they're like Johnny on the spot. They're super polite, super nice, super down to earth, super humble. You know, this reminds me like you're running late for school, so you're just like grabbing everything, like jamming it in your backpack, like just packing your bags. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of right. To the moon. Diamond hands on that kadena. Like just Conor McGregor over here with these glass cutters, you know? Now, I want to let you guys in on a little secret. Here's the real trick to making real good cryptocurrency investments. Every once in a while, when you're not actually sure, sometimes when you're not sure, you just got to ask the magic 8-ball. Should I invest in kadena? As I see it, woo! That's great TA right there. So if the 8-ball tells you to, but just to get, you know, a little bit, another level of security, let's check out our fortune cookie. I mean, is there a Venus crescent moon upon us? I think so. Is Jupiter's moon orbiting the rings of Saturn? No brainer. Let's check out this fortune cookie. So if you come over here and you think to yourself, if I buy kadena, what's my fortune going to be looking like? Prosperous as, right? You're an absolute genius. And it's blank? Is that a bad thing when your fortune cookie's blank? Oh, there he goes. Pack your bags on KDA. What? Pack your bags on KDA? Geez, these fortune cookies are off the hook, man. I want to crack another. Now, worst case, sometimes you just need to check out your horoscope to make sure that, you know, the stars are aligning, if we will say. I want to make sure that Jupiter's moon's not orbiting the dark side of the moon. I want to make sure that Jupiter's third moon isn't orbiting the backside of Saturn's, you know, crescent. There's an inspirational feeling when you see your portfolio 2.5x because you packed your bags on kadena. Don't be so stingy with such a great investment opportunity. Make some YouTube content and let everybody know what a great cryptocurrency kadena is. Instead of shrinking into your imagination, you should expand your energy outward by pumping out some kadena content so the rest of YouTube can figure out what a great investment this is. Your heart is caring, but you're acting like a sensitive little sometimes. It's time to earn some public recognition for your loyalty and loving nature. Stand up and take a bow. You know? Stand up. Oh, it's kind of hard to stand up when this kadena is weighing you down. My bags are packed. We going to the moon. And just in case the fortune cookie, the horoscope, the Jupiter moon didn't tell you, we got a crystal ball, guys. So this is real. It's really asked. Please ask the question. Should I pack my bags on kadena? Should I pack my bags on kadena? Certainly, you guys see it. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. When the stars align from God's ears, you know, it just meets every criteria. Currency, supply. Their blockchain's being developed. You can see that development on GitHub. They have the community, they have the supply, they have the price, they have the development going on. They're going to have DeFi, they have smart contracts, they're infinitely scalable, they meet every criteria. My name's Ryan Maddock, guys. I appreciate you guys. If you guys could do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.